top seed in the NFC. So Rodgers wins the game without throwing a touchdown pass. His third game this year in which he wins without throwing a touchdown. Who are the other two quarterbacks this year with at least 3 wins in which they did not throw a touchdown?
I'm going to go Tom Brady and Josh Allen.
You were very close. Tom Brady is correct. Jacoby Brissett is the other. Brissett's team out of playoff contention, but Brady and Rodgers finding ways to win games differently. And let's take a closer look at how.
Let's do it. And look, here's the thing. We continue to point out that Aaron Rodgers may be missing some throws, Dan, but you also want to give this guy some props. And at the end of the day, his team's still winning games. So show us what you saw that was good from Rodgers.
Especially situationally, and then how fast his mind can still operate. You saw it on third down. So first of all, last night, the Vikings are going to be in a 2-man coverage. Those 2 safeties have a half of the field deep zone. Now, everyone underneath is going to be playing man coverage. Now, when you get into this empty backfield, you see the Packers are an empty backfield right there. You have to, number one, as a quarterback, know what's your protection. So Rodgers knows that his offensive lineman is going to go to the left. That means that this linebacker, if he blitzes, there's no one that can be part of that protection to pick him up. So Rodgers, one, needs to know, are you going to be a problem with the blitz for me? Watch Rodgers, first of all, understand the problem with his protection or the issue. Look at him snap his eyes to that linebacker when he gets that snap. Are you blitzing? Okay, you're not blitzing. Now, number 2, I told you it was 2-man. In 2-man, you have to have something to beat coverage, scheme coverage up. Now, what they're going to have up top over here is they're going to want one receiver kind of out at that corner and then slip someone underneath and like a little replace shallow route. I told you that Rodgers was staring to the right here. Watch how quickly he snaps his head to get back to that read. Snap your head back, get vision to that way. Make sure that that receiver is clearing out and that underneath shallow is going to come. Big third down conversion. The guy can still get through reads really quickly. Let's watch a beautiful play action ball. So this play action is going to be, this receiver is going to come down, bluff, and go out. Then you're going to have a crosser and then a big in by Davante Adams. Now the read is 1, 2 to 3. Watch how fast Aaron Rodgers can still get through stuff. Gets to the top of his drop and he's staring at number 1. Number 1, you're taking way too long. I got to get to number 2. So he's going to snap his head to number 2, that initial crosser. He doesn't like number 2 because these underneath defenders. This is a cloudy picture for a quarterback. That receiver's just getting into his route, doesn't like number 2. Let's watch how quickly. This guy is snapping to number 3 right now. Before Davante Adams is ever getting into his cut, he's snapping to number 3. And also, that ball is getting ready to get ripped. Ball's going to come out of Rodgers' hands. That defender's standing right there. That defender's standing right there. And the safety's able to drive on it. This is called anticipation into a window that you can't see right now. Ball is out of Rodgers' hand, and it's an absolute pearl to Davante Adams. So Rodgers can still play fast. He can still anticipate, and he's still deadly accurate. I promise you, no one in the NFC wants to see the version of 12 that we just showed.
And it feels like it's this close to happening at a consistent rate. Who knows if he can get hot? Greeny, let's continue the quarterback theme on Get Up this morning.
Yeah, let's go to the AFC because you really have 3 teams that feel like they've separated themselves. Here's 2019, and Tom Brady is still part of the conversation. He's still winning games. It's his 12th year with at least 12 wins as a starter. That's the most ever. It broke a tie with Peyton Manning. Patrick Mahomes is up to 75 career passing touchdowns in 30 starts. That is the fewest starts ever needed to reach 75 career touchdown passes. It's ridiculous. The previous record was Dan Marino. And Lamar Jackson has a combined 43 passing and rushing touchdowns this year. That's the 3rd most by a first or second-year quarterback ever, behind Patrick Mahomes in 2018 and Dan Marino in 1984. Both of those guys went on to win MVP, and Lamar Jackson is going to as well. So this becomes a really interesting scenario. We talked about it a little bit here yesterday, but D. Wood, I'm curious to hear from you. As we look at those 3 teams and the 3 quarterbacks, the 2 young guns in Jackson and Mahomes, and the KG veteran you played with a generation ago in Tom Brady, who do you have the most confidence in as they head into the playoffs?
I got to go with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, listen, I think we're starting to see the healthy version of Patrick Mahomes. And when you have the healthy version to go along with the weapons that they have on that Kansas City offense, it's going to be scary. But the real scary part, Greeny, about the Kansas City Chiefs is their defense. Their defense over the last 5 to 6 weeks has been one of the best, if not the best defense in the National Football League. So, again, to recap, Patrick Mahomes, we've seen this guy in the playoffs play lights out. His defense has been the X factor. And I think if that defense continue to play the way that they've been playing, this team could easily find their way in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay, so when we know this about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. When Patrick Mahomes is healthy, he's the best player on the planet. He's finally healthy. The ankle, the knee, and the hand are no longer looked to be an issue. Again, when he is healthy, he's the best player on the planet. To your point, Wood, now they have the defense. Reminding everybody, we have never seen this version of the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. We have only seen the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes in a bad defense, or an unhealthy Patrick Mahomes and an improving defense. Now we've got a really good defense in Kansas City and a healthy Patrick Mahomes, who, again, is the best player on the planet. That's dangerous. With that being said, I still would take Tom Brady. I made this mistake last year. I made this mistake of going, New England just doesn't look right and something's not there. And then they figure it out at the end of the season and go on their playoff run. And I feel like we're trending towards that because what I saw Saturday was a football team figure out, okay, this is something that we're going to get good at. We can get this run game going. We can get this play action. I have long said that Tom Brady was playing good football this year. The people around him needed to step up, and you saw that with Lacoste. You saw that a little bit with Jacoby Myers. Edelman is still there. N'Keal Harry and his usage. Elandon Roberts playing fullback. I still, in December and January football, am going to bank on 12.
Somehow we have not yet mentioned the quarterback is going to be the MVP, and they haven't lost the game in like 3 months, and they're going to have home field advantage all the way through it. You're telling me someone, and in your case you're saying it's going to be Mahomes, is going into Baltimore and beating them.
Yes.
This is why in August I said it was going to be the best NFL season. The Chiefs' defense is the most equipped to stop Baltimore because they're built on speed. The Chiefs can run sideline to sideline with the Baltimore offense.
Assuming that New England beats Miami at home this weekend,
correct,
the Chiefs will have to play the extra game.
In New England,
the Chiefs.
right?
If the game's in New England, the Chiefs are the one that'll have to play the extra game. It might be Tennessee. That's no picnic at all. They lost to them before, then go on the road twice to do it. They will have the hardest road. Meanwhile, let's take a different path as we run the hurry up with you, Orlovsky. Lamar Jackson's going to sit out this week, and then they'll have a bye, so he won't play for a while. Any reason for concern?
Absolutely not. Lamar's still a young player who's dominated the NFL this year. This is exactly what Lamar needed to finish his season in kind of dominating fashion and then get healthy, get some rest. We saw the carries add up over the last 6 weeks for him. This rest will be a big advantage for Lamar in this offense.
How about his star, that guy right there, Mark Ingram, running back? He's got a calf. He's got a few weeks to get healthy. How significant could this be?
Yeah, this is a big deal. I mean, Mark Ingram on the field is a guy that's averaging like 6 yards per carry. One, the mesh point that they go through with that read option is something that takes so many reps. So that's a big deal. We saw a fumble between them last week. And then
right now what they have is practically nothing. So you can't question the decision to try and go for it. But as far as Seattle is concerned, they have the best quarterback. I mean, Russell Wilson has played the best of any quarterback in the NFC this year. Do they have enough around him to be a legit threat in the playoffs?
I don't think they do. It's as much of a magician as Russell Wilson, because he covers up a lot of flaws within that Seattle roster. I don't know if it's enough to overcome, New Orleans with their defense, Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, or the San Francisco 49ers with, their defense and their rushing attack and how Jimmy Garoppolo has been playing. So, again, I'll never put anything against Russell Wilson, but boy, they have some holes on their team.
And you know who they're going to miss? They are going to miss Josh Gordon. I know it sounds because he wasn't killing the stats. Josh Gordon was still a 6'3", 220-pound human that you had to pay attention to. Go watch the Arizona game. They could not throw the football down the field. They couldn't even stretch the field vertically in the pass game. So to D. Wood's point, I think it's a lot to ask Russell Wilson to overcome.
All right, so those are the big contenders in the NFC, and then there's the division that someone has to win. Let's talk about the Eagles. Their postseason fate now finally in their hands after beating Dallas 17-9. A matchup with the Giants is all that stands between them and the NFC East title. A win over them or a Cowboys loss to Washington would lock up the playoffs or the Eagles. Let's take a look at the Eagles' FPI chances of winning the division. That's our analytics. They say Philly has a 73% chance to get in over Dallas. Dallas is still in play for the division crown. They need a win and a Philly loss to make the playoffs. And I have renamed the quarterback of the New York Giants for this week. He is no longer Danny Dimes. That's not telling the story. He's Danny Dollars.
Yes.
Dimes, not nearly enough. D. Wood, what do you see as we look at this thing? Oh, the delicious possibilities here. They both play in that 425 window, that NFC East battles. The Giants are playing pretty well of late. What chance do you give the Giants of spoiling the party against the banged up